You think your distractions are random. They're engineered. Every notification, every endless scroll, every cheap dopamine hit, it's all designed to keep you docile. They want you weak because weak men are predictable. They want you distracted because distracted men never organize their power. They want you average because average men don't threaten the established order. But here's what they didn't account for. You're listening to this right now, which means some part of you already knows. Some part of you already refuses. Comment, "I refuse to stay average," if you're ready to disappoint them completely. The choice was never comfort or greatness. It was slavery or sovereignty, and you're about to learn the difference. Number 2, the conspiracy of mediocrity. Your weakness serves their empire. Understand this. Your mediocrity is profitable. Your distraction is currency. Every hour you waste scrolling is an hour you're not building. Every goal you abandon is another threat neutralized. The architects of this system studied you. They mapped your psychology. They know exactly which buttons to push to keep you sedated. Comfort is the enemy they disguised as a friend. They give you just enough to survive, but never enough to thrive. Just enough pleasure to keep you chasing, but never enough pain to force you awake. This is Machiavellian control at its finest. Rule by making the slaves believe they're free. They flood your feed with other people's victories so you can live vicariously through strangers. They sell you entertainment so you never create. They give you opinions so you never think. And the brilliance, you police yourself. You sabotage your own potential because you've internalized their limits. You've accepted their ceiling as your sky. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. The same energy they use to keep you down can be reversed. The same psychology they weaponize against you can be wielded by you. Machiavelli understood that power isn't given, it's taken by those who understand the game. You don't need permission to rise. You need ruthless clarity. You need to see the chains before you can break them. Most men die without ever realizing they were in a cage. Not you. Not anymore. You're beginning to see it now. The matrix of mediocrity, the trap of comfort, the slow death of potential, and seeing it is the first act of rebellion. Comment, "I see the cage," if you're ready to break out. Number 3, the dark psychology of dependency. They need you needy. Let me show you how deep this goes. They don't just want you average, they need you dependent. Dependent on validation, dependent on their systems, dependent on their approval. Because a dependent man is a controlled man, and a controlled man will never revolt. Think about it. Every institution you trust is designed to make you weaker, not stronger. Your education taught you compliance, not critical thinking. Your entertainment teaches you to consume, not create. Your social media teaches you to perform, not to build. This isn't accident. This is architecture. The weakest generation in history didn't happen by chance. It was manufactured. They feminized aggression and called it toxic. They pathologized ambition and called it greed. They demonized strength and called it privilege. And in doing so, they castrated an entire generation of men before they even knew what power felt like. But here's where the dark psychology gets interesting. They convinced you that your weakness is virtue, that your lack of discipline is self-love, that your fear of confrontation is emotional intelligence. They rebranded cowardice as consciousness. And you applauded. Machiavelli wrote that it's better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But modern man, he's neither. He's tolerated, he's ignored, he's invisible, because he made himself harmless in exchange for acceptance. You were taught to shrink so others could feel comfortable, to dim your light so others wouldn't feel inadequate, to apologize for your hunger. But lions don't apologize to sheep, and if you want to reclaim your power, you need to stop seeking approval from people who benefit from your weakness. The uncomfortable truth? Most people in your life don't want you to change. Your growth threatens their excuses. Your discipline exposes their laziness. Your success invalidates their victimhood. So they'll subtly sabotage you. with doubt disguised as concern, with mockery disguised as jokes, with negativity disguised as realism. Recognize the pattern. Comment, "I outgrow the crabs," when you understand. Distance isn't cruelty, it's survival. Number 4, the anatomy of power. Becoming untouchable isn't luck, it's strategy. Now we build. Because awareness without action is just intellectual masturbation. You know the game is rigged. Good. Now, let's rig it in your favor. Power isn't mystical, it's mechanical. It operates on principles, and once you understand these principles, you become dangerous. First principle, control your attention, control your reality. Your attention is the most valuable resource you possess. Not your time, your attention. Where you focus expands. They know this. That's why they fight wars over your eyeballs. Every algorithm, every notification, every headline is designed to hijack your focus and redirect it toward their agenda. But a man who controls his attention controls his destiny. You want to become untouchable? Start by becoming unreachable. Delete the apps, silence the noise, create windows of deep focus where the world cannot interrupt you. This is how empires are built, in silence, while others are distracted. Second principle, embrace calculated isolation. Machiavelli understood that the prince must sometimes distance himself from the masses to maintain power. You cannot rise to your potential while drowning in the opinions of the average. Solitude isn't loneliness, it's laboratory. It's where you forge yourself without the interference of weak men projecting their limitations onto you. The crowd will call you arrogant. Let them. They're not invited where you're going. Third principle, master the duality of perception. The world respects what it fears and fears what it doesn't understand. You don't need to be loud, you need to be effective. Move in silence. Let your results speak. Let them underestimate you while you're working. Let them gossip while you're building. The man who talks about his plans seeks validation. The man who executes his plans seeks domination. There's a difference. Fourth principle, weaponize your pain. Every setback, every betrayal, every moment of suffering, these aren't obstacles, they're assets. Stoicism teaches us that the obstacle is the way. Dark psychology teaches us that trauma, properly channeled, becomes fuel. Don't run from your darkness. Mine it. Your anger at being underestimated. Use it. Your resentment at being overlooked. Convert it. Your fear of staying average. Let it haunt you into action. Comfort creates weak men. Pressure creates diamonds. And you've been under pressure long enough. Now it's time to crystallize. Comment, pressure creates diamonds if you're transforming pain into power. The untouchable aren't born. They're forged in fire they refuse to let consume them. Number 5. The Machiavellian discipline. Become the architect of your own empire. Here's where most men fail. They collect knowledge, but never apply pressure. They understand the concepts, but never execute the strategy. They want the results of discipline without the violence of discipline. Listen carefully. Discipline isn't a personality trait. It's warfare. It's you versus the weakest version of yourself. Every single day. And that weak version is cunning. It speaks in your voice. It uses your logic. It justifies. It negotiates. It promises you'll start tomorrow. This is the enemy, not your circumstances, not your past. The voice that tells you rest is more important than repetition. That comfort is more valuable than conquest. That you've done enough when you know you haven't. Machiavelli understood that fortune favors the bold, but only when boldness is backed by preparation. You don't get to be reckless and call it courage. You need a system, a non-negotiable framework that operates regardless of motivation. Because motivation is a liar. Motivation shows up when you feel good. Discipline shows up especially when you don't. Build your empire on these pillars. First, ritualize your power. Every morning is a declaration of war against mediocrity. You need a routine so strong that it programs your subconscious. Physical training, not for vanity, for dominance over your own biology. Mental training, reading, studying, sharpening your intellect while others scroll themselves stupid, strategic planning, reviewing your goals, adjusting your tactics, moving pieces on your personal chessboard. This isn't optional. This is the price of power. Second, eliminate negotiation. The weak man negotiates with himself constantly. Should I work out today? Should I work on my business? Should I stay disciplined? Stop asking. Delete the question. When the alarm rings, you move. When the task appears, you execute. No debate, no democracy. You are not governed by feelings. You are governed by commitment. Third, track everything. What gets measured gets managed. Your workouts, your income, your productivity, your progress. Every week you review. Every month you recalibrate. You're not hoping for transformation. You're engineering it. The data doesn't lie. Your feelings do. Trust the numbers. Fourth, weaponize accountability. Find someone who won't coddle you, someone who will call you out when you're making excuses. Not a cheerleader, a mirror. Someone who reflects your potential, not your comfort. The right accountability partner is worth more than 1,000 motivational videos. They keep you honest when you're lying to yourself. And fifth, understand that discipline is cumulative. Every rep counts, every page read counts, every hour of focus counts. You're not just building results, you're building identity. You're becoming the man who keeps promises to himself. And that man, he's unstoppable because he's proven to himself that he can be trusted. That his word, even the word he gives himself, is law. This is how you become untouchable. Not through talent, not through luck, through relentless, strategic, Machiavellian discipline that refuses to compromise. Comment, my word is law, if you're ready to stop negotiating with weakness. The empire you want is built one disciplined decision at a time, and the time is now. Number 6. The ruthless elimination. Cut the dead weight or drown with it. Now we enter dangerous territory. The territory most men avoid because it requires brutality, not toward others, toward reality. You need to audit your life with the cold precision of a Machiavellian prince eliminating threats to his kingdom. And here's what you'll find. Most of what you're holding on to is killing you. Your relationships, your habits, your beliefs, your environment. They're anchors disguised as comfort. And they're dragging you to the bottom while you smile and pretend everything is fine. Let's start with people. The hardest cut. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This isn't motivation, it's mathematics. Look around. Are they building empires or making excuses? Are they challenging you or coddling you? Are they evolving or stagnant? Most people are crabs in a bucket. The moment you try to climb out, they'll pull you back down. Not because they're evil, because your growth is a mirror reflecting their stagnation, and that mirror is unbearable. So they'll disguise their sabotage as love. Don't work so hard, you'll burn out. Translation. Your discipline makes me feel lazy. You're changing. You're not the same person. Translation. Your evolution threatens our dynamic. Why are you so serious all the time? Translation. Your focus exposes my distraction. Recognize these patterns. These aren't friends, they're weights. And Machiavelli was clear. It's better to be alone and powerful than surrounded and weak. Cut them. Not with cruelty, but with clarity. You're not obligated to explain your transformation to people who aren't interested in their own. Distance yourself, quietly, completely, without apology. Your circle should be small, sharp, and dangerous. Men who demand excellence, men who won't let you quit, men who are building their own empires and have no time for mediocrity. If you can't find them, walk alone. Solitude with purpose beats company with compromise every single time. Now, your environment. You cannot build a kingdom in a cage. Your physical space shapes your mental space. If your room is chaos, your mind is chaos. If your surroundings scream comfort, your actions will whisper laziness. Strip it down. Eliminate distraction. Create a space that demands productivity. No TV in the bedroom. No gaming consoles in your workspace. No comfort where discipline is required. Your environment should make laziness uncomfortable and focus effortless. Engineer it. Then, your information diet. You're consuming poison and wondering why you feel sick. The news is designed to make you afraid. Social media is designed to make you inadequate. Entertainment is designed to make you passive. You're mainlining anxiety, comparison, and distraction, then wondering why you can't focus. Fast from it. 30 days minimum. No news, no social media, no mindless consumption. Replace it with books, with strategy, with knowledge that sharpens you instead of dulls you. You'll be shocked how much power you reclaim when you stop letting the world program your thoughts. And finally, your habits. The small, invisible choices you make every day. They seem harmless individually, but they compound into destiny. That snooze button? It's training you to break promises to yourself. That late-night scroll session? It's stealing your morning power. That cheat day that became a cheat week. It's teaching you that discipline is optional. It's not. Every small surrender to weakness is a vote for the person you don't want to become. Every small act of discipline is a vote for the person you're becoming. And the election happens daily. Most men lose by 1,000 tiny compromises they never noticed. You're going to win by 1,000 tiny refusals to settle. This is the ruthless elimination. Not everything that feels good deserves space in your life. Not everyone who loves you deserves access to your energy. Comment, I protect my energy, if you're ready to cut what's killing you. The untouchable man isn't heartless, he's selective, and he knows that saying no to the wrong things is how you say yes to your destiny. Number 7. The manipulation of reality. Perception is power. Control the narrative. Now we go deeper into the Machiavellian mind, into the realm where power meets psychology, where strategy meets perception. Because here's what they don't teach you. Reality is negotiable, not the truth. Reality, the way people perceive you, judge you, respond to you. That's all malleable. And the man who controls perception controls outcome. This is dark psychology at its finest. Machiavelli wrote that the lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. Therefore, one must be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves. You need both, the strength and the strategy, the force and the finesse. Most men are neither. They're honest to a fault, predictable to their detriment, and transparent to their destruction. They think integrity means showing everyone everything. Wrong. Integrity means being true to your word and your principles, not being an open book for vultures to study and exploit. Let's talk about strategic opacity. You don't owe anyone access to your plans. When you announce your goals, you trigger premature satisfaction in your brain, the same reward you'd get from achieving them. Plus, you invite opposition, doubt, sabotage. The world doesn't need to know you're building until the building is done. Move in silence. Let your actions announce your arrival. The element of surprise is a weapon they can't defend against if they don't see you coming. When they ask what you're up to, be vague, be pleasant, be forgettable. Just working on some things. Staying busy. Figuring it out. Never reveal your full hand. Poker players don't win by showing their cards. They win by controlling what others think they have. Next, master the art of controlled vulnerability. This sounds contradictory, but listen closely. People trust those who appear human, flawed, relatable. But weakness is a tool, not a truth. You reveal calculated vulnerabilities, struggles you've overcome, challenges you've conquered to build rapport and trust. But you never reveal current weaknesses. Never show them where you're actually vulnerable right now. Show them the scar, never the wound. This creates connection without creating exploitation. They feel they know you, but they don't know where to strike. Now, the manipulation of status. Status isn't what you have. It's what people believe you have. A man in a tailored suit commands more respect than the same man in sweatpants, even if nothing else changed. Your presentation, your posture, your pace of speech, your decisiveness, all signals, all interpreted, all powerful. You need to engineer these signals. Stand taller, speak slower, pause before responding, dress better than your current station demands. Not for vanity, for leverage. People make snap judgments in seconds, and those judgments determine how they treat you, what opportunities they offer, how seriously they take you. You're either controlling that process or you're its victim. Choose. Here's the darker truth. You need to understand social hierarchies and exploit them. Every group has a pecking order. Every interaction has a power dynamic. Most men are unconscious of this and get dominated by default. You need to be awake. In every room you enter, identify the power. Who commands attention? Who do others defer to? Then position yourself strategically. Sometimes you mirror them to gain favor. Sometimes you challenge them to demonstrate strength. Sometimes you ignore them to signal independence. It depends on your goal. But you're always calculating, always aware, always 3 moves ahead. And here's what Machiavelli understood that modern men forgot. Sometimes you need to be underestimated. Let them think you're less capable than you are. Let them dismiss you. Let them lower their guard. Then strike when they're not prepared. The greatest victories happen when your enemy didn't even know there was a battle. This isn't deception for deception's sake. This is strategic positioning. You're not lying. You're allowing them to believe what benefits you. There's a difference, but let me be clear. This isn't about becoming fake. This is about becoming strategic. Your core remains solid. Your principles remain intact, but your presentation becomes weaponized. You're not changing who you are. You're controlling how you're perceived until your results speak louder than perception ever could. The weak man says what he thinks and wonders why he has enemies. The average man hides who he is and wonders why he's invisible. The powerful man reveals exactly what serves his purpose and controls every interaction. You're not being dishonest. You're being dangerous. And in a world designed to keep you harmless, danger is your greatest asset. Comment, I control the narrative if you understand the game within the game. The untouchable man doesn't just build power, he controls how that power is perceived, leveraged, and protected. This is the art they fear you'll learn. So learn it completely. Number 8. The stoic indifference. Emotions are weapons. Don't hand them to your enemies. Here's where the average man destroys himself. He reacts. Someone insults him, he reacts. Someone disrespects him, he reacts. Someone challenges him, he reacts. And in that reaction, he surrenders all his power. Because the moment you can be provoked, you can be controlled. The moment they know which buttons to push, you become their puppet. And they'll push those buttons every single time. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotion, it's about strategically choosing when and how to express it. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Most men have it backwards. They try to control everything external while being controlled by everything internal. You need to flip that. Master your inner world so completely that the outer world becomes irrelevant. Let's talk about emotional leverage. Every emotional reaction you have gives someone information. It tells them where you're vulnerable, where they can hurt you, where they can manipulate you. When you get angry, you've shown them your weak point. When you get defensive, you've confirmed their accusation had weight. When you try too hard to prove something, you've revealed your insecurity. The powerful man feels everything but shows nothing. He processes internally and responds externally only when it serves his purpose. This is the difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is emotional and immediate. Responding is strategic and deliberate. Someone insults you, don't react. Pause, breathe, consider, is this person worth my energy? Does their opinion affect my reality? Is there strategic value in responding? Most of the time, the answer is no. Silence is devastating. Indifference is crushing. When you don't react, you've communicated something far more powerful than any comeback. You're beneath my concern. That's power. Now understand this dark principle. People will test you constantly. They'll poke. They'll provoke. They'll push boundaries to see where you break. This isn't personal, it's primal. Humans instinctively test for weakness because weakness means vulnerability, and vulnerability means you're not a threat. When you pass these tests by remaining unmoved, you earn respect. When you fail by getting emotional, you earn contempt. The tests never stop, but they change. Early on, they're blatant, direct disrespect, obvious challenges. Later, they become subtle, passive aggression, backhanded comments, strategic undermining. Stay alert, stay unmoved. Show them that nothing they do disturbs your frame. Your frame is your psychological fortress. It's the reality you maintain regardless of external pressure. Weak men enter every interaction hoping to maintain their frame. Strong men enter knowing their frame is unbreakable. When someone tries to make you angry and you smile instead, your frame held. When someone tries to make you defensive and you stay calm, your frame held. When someone tries to shake your confidence and you remain certain, your frame held. Frame control is everything. The person with the strongest frame controls the interaction. Period. Here's the stoic secret they don't want you to know. Most of what bothers you is imaginary. Someone thinks you're stupid. That's their opinion, not your reality. Someone rejects you. That's their preference, not your value. Someone betrays you. That's their character, not your failure. You're suffering from thoughts about events, not the events themselves. Epictetus taught that we're disturbed not by things, but by the views we take of them. Change the view, eliminate the disturbance. This isn't toxic positivity. This is strategic detachment. You acknowledge reality without being destroyed by it. Someone wrongs you? Acknowledge it, learn from it, adjust your strategy, then move forward without carrying the emotional baggage. Resentment is drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Revenge, sometimes necessary, but always cold, never hot, never emotional, calculated, strategic, executed when they've forgotten they ever wronged you. That's Machiavellian justice, but most of the time, the best revenge is indifference. Build something so magnificent that they become irrelevant. Rise so high that their words can't reach you. Win so completely that their hate becomes white noise beneath your success. They want your reaction because it confirms they matter. Don't give them that satisfaction. The untouchable man isn't emotionless. He's emotionally sovereign. He feels everything, masters everything, reveals nothing. His enemies can't manipulate what they can't access. His opponents can't exploit what they can't see. He moves through life like water, adapting, flowing, powerful, but never able to be grasped. Comment, I am unmoved, if you're done being controlled by emotions. The world will try to shake you every single day. Your power lives in remaining unshakable. Number 9. The relentless execution. Strategy without action is hallucination. Everything we've discussed means nothing without this. Nothing. You can understand the game. You can see the manipulation. You can master your emotions. You can build the perfect plan. And you can still die average. Why? Because knowledge without execution is just sophisticated procrastination. You're not judged by what you know. You're judged by what you build. The world doesn't care about your potential. It cares about your results. And results require one thing above all else: relentless, obsessive, unglamorous execution. Day after day after day. This is where the separation happens. Between the dreamers and the doers. Between the planners and the builders. Between those who talk about change and those who become it. Most men are addicted to preparation. They're always getting ready to get ready, reading one more book, watching one more video, waiting for one more sign. They mistake consumption for progress. They confuse learning with doing. Stop. You don't need more information. You need more implementation. You don't need another strategy. You need to execute the one you have, imperfectly, immediately, relentlessly. Machiavelli wrote that the wise man does at once what the fool does finally. Both will do it. The difference is timing, and timing is everything. The opportunity you're waiting for perfect conditions to pursue. Someone else is pursuing it right now with imperfect conditions, and they'll win. Not because they're smarter, because they started. Here's the brutal truth about execution. It's boring. It's repetitive. It's unsexy. Social media shows you the highlight reel, the victory, the breakthrough, the transformation. It doesn't show you the 10,000 hours of grinding in obscurity, the failed attempts, the rejections, the days when nothing worked and you kept working anyway. That's where greatness lives, in the boring middle, in the repetition, in showing up when motivation died 3 weeks ago and discipline is the only thing pulling you forward. You need to fall in love with the process, not the outcome, because the outcome is a moment. The process is your life. If you're only happy when you win, you'll be miserable 99% of the time. But if you find satisfaction in the daily execution, in keeping your word to yourself, in showing up, in doing the work, you become unstoppable. Let me give you the execution framework that changes everything. First, daily non-negotiables. 3 to 5 actions you take every single day regardless of circumstances. For me, train, read, create, build every day. No exceptions, no negotiations. These aren't goals, they're identity. I'm not trying to be disciplined, I am disciplined. There's a difference. Second, time blocking with violence. Your calendar is a battlefield. Every hour is territory. And if you don't claim it, someone else will. Block your time in advance. Deep work sessions, training, strategic planning. Protect these blocks like your life depends on them, because it does. When someone asks for your time during a blocked period, the answer is no. Not maybe, not let me check. No, your time is your life and you don't negotiate with life. Third, the 2-minute rule, weaponized. If something takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. Reply to that message, make that call, send that email. Tiny tasks accumulate into massive mental weight. Clear them instantly and free your mind for what matters. Fourth, weekly reviews, brutally honest. Every Sunday, you sit down and audit. What did you say you'd do? What did you actually do? Where did you compromise? Where did you win? No excuses, no justifications, just data. Then you adjust. This is how you stay on target while everyone else drifts. Fifth, accountability with consequences. Tell someone what you're going to do. Give them permission to call you out if you don't. Better yet, attach financial consequences. Every day you skip your non-negotiables, you pay. Make it hurt. Make breaking your word to yourself more painful than keeping it. And sixth, embrace the compound effect. You're not going to see results tomorrow, or next week, or maybe even next month. But if you execute consistently for 6 months, for a year, for 5 years, you'll be unrecognizable. Most men quit 3 feet from gold because they can't see it yet. The mine looks the same whether you're 3 feet away or 300 feet away. Keep digging. Trust the process. Compound interest applies to everything. Your fitness, your wealth, your skills, your reputation. Small actions, repeated consistently, create exponential results. But you need to stay in the game long enough to see it. This is the execution that creates empires. Not loud, not flashy, just relentless. Day after day, week after week, year after year, while others are planning, you're building. While others are talking, you're doing. While others are waiting for motivation, you're already 10 miles ahead. Comment "I execute daily" if you're done planning and ready to build. The untouchable man isn't the smartest in the room. He's the one who executes while everyone else debates. Be that man. Number 10. The final declaration. Disappoint them completely. So here we are, the end of the blueprint, the beginning of your execution. They wanted you weak, you're becoming strong. They wanted you distracted, you're becoming focused. They wanted you average, you're becoming exceptional. And it's going to disturb them. Your transformation will make people uncomfortable. Your discipline will offend their laziness. Your success will threaten their excuses. Let it. You're not here to make them comfortable. You're here to disappoint their expectations completely. Machiavelli understood that fortune is a woman, and it is necessary to hold her down and beat her and fight with her. The world doesn't reward the timid. It rewards the relentless, the men who refuse to break, who refuse to quit, who refuse to accept the ceiling society built for them. You have everything you need: the awareness, the strategy, the principles, the framework. Now, it's just execution, one day at a time, one decision at a time, one disciplined action at a time, until the man you're becoming is so far removed from the man you were that they can't even recognize you. They're counting on you to fail, to give up when it gets hard, to fall back into comfort when the pressure builds. Prove them wrong, not with words, with results. Build something so undeniable they can't ignore it. Become someone so powerful they can't dismiss it. Live so completely on your terms that their opinions become irrelevant. This is your moment. Comment, "I will disappoint them," one final time. Then close this video and get to work.